Hi guys, welcome to Scimath Academy. In today's lesson, we are going to focus on one of the most important topic in mathematics, which is continued ratio. So a continued ratio is used when we compare three or more quantities of the same kind. Sometimes we need to compare more than two quantities. Then the two ratio x ratio y and y ratio z are expressed as x ratio y ratio z, right? So such type of ratio is called continued ratio, and in which we have to find the x ratio y ratio z. So this type of a ratio is called continued ratio. Now we are going to calculate the continued ratio of more than two quantities, just like the ratio of apples to banana as 3:4, and the ratio of bananas to oranges as 4:6. Then now we have to find the continued ratio. So 3:4, 4:6, we can write it as times 4 as 12 ratio, 4 times 4 is 16, 4 times 6 is 24, right? So the continued ratio as 12:16 ratio 24. If we simplify this ratio, we can get 3:4:6. So the continued ratios of apple to banana and banana to oranges is 3:4:6. We have given A ratio B is equal to 2:3 and B ratio C is equal to 3:4. So we have to find the ratio ABC, or the continued ratio. So we can write it as A ratio B is equal to 2:3 and B ratio C is equal to 3:4. Find the continued ratio, which is A, B and C. So A ratio B is equal to 2:3 and B ratio C is equal to 3:4, right? 3 times 2 is 6, 3 times 3 is 9, and 3 times 4 is 12. So the continued ratio is 6:9:12. Or if we simplify this ratio, then we get 2:3:4. This is our simplified ratio. A ratio B ratio C is equal to 2:3:4. Now here is another question in which we have given A ratio B is equal to 5:3, B ratio C is equal to 1:4. So we have to find A ratio B ratio C. So we can write this expression as A ratio B is equal to 5:3 and B ratio C is equal to 1:4. Is A ratio B ratio C. 5:3, 1:4, right? So 1 times 5 is 5 ratio, 1 times 3 is 3, and 3 times 4 is 12. So the correct ratio is 5, 3 and 12. A ratio B ratio C is equal to 5:3:12. Here is another question. A ratio B is equal to 4:5 and B ratio C is equal to 5:6. So we have to find A ratio B ratio C, right? So A ratio B is equal to 4:5 and B ratio C is equal to 5:6. So A, B and C can be written as 4:5 and 5:6. Right? So 4 times 5 is 20. Ratio 5 times 5 is 25. 5 times 6 is 30. 4, 5. 4:5:6. So A ratio B ratio C is equal to 4:5:6. This is our final answer. If we have given the ratios of more than two quantities, then by following these tips you can find the continued ratio of these quantities. We have given D ratio E as 2:6 and E ratio F is equal to 7:8. So we have to find the continued ratio. So we can write it as D, E, F, and we can write this ratio as 2 ratio 6 and 7 ratio 8. So 7 times 2 is 14, 7 times 6 is 42, and 6 times 8 is 48, right?